A troubled partnership, Mexico and the United States at a crossroads. Recently, this relationship has become increasingly strained. Mexico has paused its diplomatic engagement with the United States, sending shockwaves through both nations. The reasons behind this diplomatic freeze are complex, stemming from disagreements over immigration, trade, and security. Economically, both countries are deeply intertwined, and a breakdown in relations could have severe repercussions. The future of the bilateral relationship, and indeed the stability of the entire North American region, depends on finding a way to rebuild trust. A shared history, from cooperation to conflict. The relationship between Mexico and the United States is deeply rooted in history. From the early days of Mexican independence to the present, the two nations have experienced periods of both cooperation and conflict. In the 19th century, the U.S.-Mexico relationship was marked by territorial disputes, culminating in the Mexican-American War. The 20th century witnessed a gradual improvement in relations, with significant milestones like the signing of NAFTA in 1994. Despite periods of cooperation, the U.S.-Mexico relationship has always been characterized by an asymmetry of power. The current diplomatic pause is just the latest chapter in this long and complicated story. The breaking point. Why Mexico hit the pause button. Mexico's decision to pause its relationship with the United States was a calculated move, driven by a confluence of factors. At the heart of the matter are deep-seated disagreements over immigration, trade, and security. Immigration has long been a contentious issue, with the U.S. struggling to manage the flow of migrants across its southern border. Mexico has often been caught in the middle, facing pressure from the U.S. while grappling with its own humanitarian obligations. Trade is another area of contention, with NAFTA bringing both benefits and job losses. The Trump administration's decision to renegotiate NAFTA and impose tariffs on Mexican goods further strained relations. Security cooperation has also been tested, with Mexico wary of U.S. involvement in its internal affairs. The final straw may have been the perceived disrespect and lack of empathy from the current U.S. administration. Mexican officials have expressed frustration over unilateral actions and inflammatory rhetoric from Washington. The decision to pause diplomatic relations can be seen as a way for Mexico to assert its sovereignty and demand to be treated as an equal partner. Ripple effects. The economic and political fallout. The pause in U.S.-Mexico relations has sent shockwaves through both countries and beyond. Economically, the two nations are deeply intertwined, with billions of dollars worth of goods and services flowing across the border daily. A prolonged diplomatic freeze could disrupt supply chains, increase costs, and jeopardize thousands of jobs. Politically, the pause could undermine cooperation on critical issues like drug trafficking, organized crime, and climate change. The diplomatic standoff has also strained relations between the two countries' leaders, making it more difficult to resolve future disputes. Moreover, the pause could embolden anti-American sentiment in Mexico and anti-Mexican sentiment in the United States. Section 5. Human consequences. The impact on everyday life. Beyond the economic and political ramifications, the pause in U.S.-Mexico relations has profound human consequences. Millions of people on both sides of the border have deep personal and familial ties that transcend national boundaries. Travel restrictions and heightened border security measures have made it more difficult to visit family and friends. The fear of family separation looms large, particularly for mixed-status families. The diplomatic standoff has also fueled anti-immigrant sentiment in the United States, leading to a climate of fear and suspicion within immigrant communities. In Mexico, the pause in relations has been met with a mixture of disappointment and defiance, leading to calls for greater self-reliance. Section 6. Bridging the divide. Finding a path to reconciliation. The pause in U.S.-Mexico relations is a serious matter with far-reaching consequences. However, it is not insurmountable. Both countries have a vested interest in finding a path to reconciliation and rebuilding trust. This will require a concerted effort from leaders and citizens alike to engage in dialogue, address grievances, and find common ground. One crucial step is to acknowledge the legitimacy of each other's concerns. Dialogue is essential to finding solutions involving not just government officials but also representatives from civil society, the business community, and academia. Section 7. The role of diplomacy, negotiation, and compromise. Diplomacy plays a crucial role in resolving international disputes, and the current situation between the US and Mexico is no exception. Both countries have a long history of diplomatic engagement, and it is through diplomacy that a path to reconciliation can be found. This requires a commitment to negotiation, compromise, and a willingness to find common ground. The first step is to re-establish high-level communication channels. Regular dialogue between senior officials is essential to rebuilding trust and understanding. Third-party mediation could also play a constructive role, with a neutral third party helping to facilitate dialogue and bridge differences. Section 8. Looking ahead, uncertainty and the hope for a stronger bond. The future of US-Mexico relations remains uncertain. The current pause in diplomatic engagement has created a sense of unease and apprehension on both sides of the border. However, amidst the uncertainty, there is also hope that this crisis can lead to a more balanced and mutually beneficial relationship. For this to happen, both countries must be willing to learn from the mistakes of the past and embrace a more collaborative approach. The path forward will require patience, perseverance, and a shared commitment to finding common ground. A strong and stable US-Mexico relationship is essential for the prosperity and security of both countries. Section 9. Conclusion. A relationship in need of repair. The pause in diplomatic relations between Mexico and the United States is a stark reminder of the complexities and challenges that have long characterized this vital bilateral relationship. The current impasse, while concerning, also presents an opportunity for reflection and reassessment. Both nations have a vested interest in a stable, prosperous, and mutually respectful partnership. Moving forward requires a concerted effort from both sides to recognize each other's sovereignty and engage in genuine dialogue. Ultimately, the future of US-Mexico relations hinges on the ability of both nations to move beyond past grievances and embrace a future defined by mutual respect and shared responsibility. The potential rewards of a truly collaborative and mutually beneficial partnership make the effort essential.